All right. Hi, this is W. Eric Martin with Board Game Geek News here with Anton Torres with Fantasy Flight Games. With an incredible number of games just announced for the upcoming year, in addition to a few that are released at Gen Con 2012, including the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game.
Absolutely.
I hear that some people like Star Wars.
The response has been phenomenal. We announced last year that we had the license and we had a prototype of this game, but this is it. It's here. The first 4 ships that are available for the game are also here. So X-Wing, TIE Fighter, TIE Advanced, and the Y-Wing.
And of course, what Christian Peterson announced for forthcoming Q1 2013. Is that the idea, or the end of the year? Sometime in there.
This winter. So winter is a season, not a month.
Okay, that's hard for the people down in Southern Hemisphere.
I understand. I understand. But,
that's right.
We're going to try and get them here as quickly as possible.
Okay. And what's featured?
So, annual talk for Chris is the in-flight report, and Wave 2 ships include the A-Wing, the TIE Interceptor, the Slave One, and the Millennium Falcon.
Which is tremendously large by comparison with the others.
Well, they are to scale. And so, at this point, we have maintained true scale across all of the ships that we've released. And it may surprise some people, but this is it. We're digging in the archives and we're looking at blueprints, and these are great.
So there's not going to be a Death Star. Otherwise, this thing would be like the size of this booth.
Who is to say? Who is to say? But it wasn't announced yesterday, right?
That's right. Also announced yesterday, we have. Obviously, HBO has had huge success with Game of Thrones. Fantasy Flight has been Game of Thrones partner for more than a decade now.
Well, a decade? I think a decade, maybe a bit more, but a Game of Thrones, the card game, a Game of Thrones, the board game, Battles of Westeros, and now Game of Thrones, well, there's no so Game of Thrones, as per the HBO show, using imagery that will be familiar to the folks that know it, the HBO version of the George R.R. Martin story. And what we have done is taken this classic card game, a Game of Thrones, the LCG, the living card game, and simplified it just enough, sort of refined it so that players that may not know this hobby can actually jump right in and enjoy Stark versus Lannister with all the characters that they know and love and all the locations, and we're very excited about this.
Yeah, well, you already have a presence as well in things like Barnes & Noble with the card game, so you already have that presence, and now this ties in.
I think it's fantastic. It's very accessible, but it is a game of it is built on the Game of Thrones. You've got intrigue challenges, you've got military challenges. It's going to be familiar to anyone that knows the card game, and if someone graduates to the deeper experience, or the full Game of Thrones living card game experience, then they may
have a ton more to go in here. Right next to this, Mansions of Madness, Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild is our next Mansion of Madness expansion, and in this case it is a larger box. I mean, we've had some print-on-demand expansions. We had Forbidden Alchemy, that was a small box expansion, but this is chock full of plastic. We've got Investigator figures that haven't been available inside the box, and we've got some new monsters, and that is going to be very exciting as well.
Okay, right below this, Borderlands, which has been in the works a while. I know it was announced 2007 is sort of, you had the license with the Eon team.
Yes.
What's been happening over that time? I mean, obviously, I guess focus first on Cosmic Encounter.
Well,
then
Cosmic Encounter. We also had the Dune remake as Rex, where that took a lot of time and energy and effort to really take. We had announced both licenses, but Rex needed a lot of work to respect the core materials and yet bring it into a new setting and have it all make sense and have it actually contribute to the game and not just be a layer slapped on. This, though, has been in the works, and the artwork is absolutely stunning. I only have a mock box to show because we just announced it, but look for this in stores this winter. This is beautiful.
What's the look? It has a vaguely steampunkish feel here.
Say it again.
There. So the look on the Borderlands right now, this has a vaguely steampunkish look to it. What is the setting here? Post-apocalyptic future.
Post-apocalyptic future. So part of what defines steampunk, is grease and gears and metal and cloth. It's lots of textures. And I think the cover is very evocative of our treatment of the game. I think people are going to be blown away. It looks spectacular. I'd love to show you a prototype, but we had time enough to just print the mock box. But look for that this winter. Long time coming.
Crossing over the next booth, Legends of Andor. I know this is primarily a Cosmos-generated game, but Fantasy Flight is the English language partner.
Absolutely.
Can you talk briefly about this, or?
Well, this is a cooperative fantasy adventure game. This is a game by Michael Menzel, who people will know from the artwork that he's produced. He's a fantastic artist. And this is a board game now where you can live and breathe through this fantasy setting and fighting creatures and going on quests. The game is unique in many ways, but one way that is unique is how you actually learn and play through the actual mechanics of the game, and people are going to be surprised. And I think adding a new co-op that has adventure game as its core, rather than sort of a puzzle aspect, is going to be a lot of fun. The look and feel is great, and that also in winter.
And Rock Band Manager, I know that's been it was announced, came out.
That was announced, and then there was a brief delay. There was an unexpected delay, but it was back on track. And I actually don't have the due date, but that will be later this year. But we just brought the components. This is actual production copy, so it's coming soon.
Okay, below this, a mild success, we should say, at Gen Con. Yes.
A mild success.
Well, I mean, hundreds of copies perhaps sold in 10 minutes the first day, and more shipment came in today, picked up and gone within minutes.
Yes. So anyone who was at Gen Con 2012, thank you for being patient. Thank you for waiting in line. That stretched longer than I've ever seen here for our booth at Gen Con, several hours in some cases, and for being very reasonable. It was something that surprised us. We knew that fans had been waiting, and we knew that there was a ton of enthusiasm, but I did not expect a near riot. What I also didn't expect is that we could actually track down a shipment that is headed to the warehouse for the September release, because this will release in September, and then to realize we could call an individual and get them a van and have them deliver a small number of cases in that van, drive overnight to have those available this morning. And then everyone here was just very polite and really friendly, and I think the excitement is there, but the frenzy, the mob mentality is gone.
That's right.
That's going to be a huge game.
You think so?
Yeah, well,
you think? I mean,
well, not just sales. Fans that have played, people who have played between yesterday and today have been coming up and they're like, "That was amazing! Thank you so much!" and shaking, So they're loving it. They're playing it, and these are people that know the game and people that also are just being introduced to it. So hugely exciting.
And one of the other new games, I don't know if we're going to get down on the floor now to do this, first announced expansion for Descent 2nd Edition, Lair of the Worm. This is getting a very long name here. We can put this all together.
Journeys in the Dark 2nd Edition, Lair of the Worm. Expansion. Yes.
That's right.
Descent, the fans have responded to Descent and our new edition of Descent in the best way I could have imagined. We took a seminal title, something that helped define the dungeon crawl genre, that had sort of outgrown its original design, perhaps, and we went back and said, well, what can we do with it? Fans love it, and are running with it, and this is just the next step. We've got new heroes, we've got new creatures, we've got new mechanics that are going to be very surprising, we've got hidden rooms and all kinds of exciting things. First small box expansion, and that will be coming later in the winter as well. Look for
and perhaps final, not necessarily final, way down on the floor here is Star Wars the card game, which has been in the works and sort of redesigned and re-come out. And I know it has to be troublesome to some degree to announce something and then to have to re-announce it and sort of reintroduce it. Everyone second guesses possibly what you're trying to do here.
Sure. I don't see it as troubling. I see it as challenging. And I'm in marketing, right? Our goal is just to help guide people to the games and the play experiences that they will love. I don't need to sell you on something that you're not going to really dig. With Star Wars the card game, we had a prototype at Gen Con. It was cooperative, and we had great feedback. We refined the game, and we reached a point where we could publish. We could have published it, and we realized that it was not the game at the end of the day that we wanted to publish as the Star Wars experience as a living card game. And so we set it aside and we started from scratch. It is entirely, it's an entirely new design. It isn't an adapted game. So now it is 2-player, head-to-head. You've got an Imperial and Rebel player facing off. Eric M. Lang is the designer. Eric's fantastic and brought some real innovation to the card game genre, and there are going to be things here that are going to surprise people, and I can't wait for it to get out. Folks who are here who haven't tried it should try the demo in the booth. I think you're going to love it.
Okay. And that is expected out?
We are looking, let's see, we're saying in stores this winter, okay? We've been working on this for a very long time now, and as soon as possible, we are going to get it into your hands. I'd love to see it, maybe not winter, maybe Q4 for sure, but look at the website and keep up to date on Board Game Geek and Board Game News. And
well, I don't want to. This sounds like a nice closing segment here. There's also the Star Wars role-playing game, which it's interesting to see this rolled out here. It's a sort of a set of 3 different worlds or environments that are being planned for all the way through 2015 now with what's forthcoming. Sure. And in addition, I don't know if you want to talk about the beta program that's in the works, I guess, to garner feedback from people and really get people, well, maybe describe it.
Well, so last year we announced the license, the Star Wars license, and we had 3 categories. We had miniatures games, card games, and role-playing games. We released XWing. People are now playing the new version of Star Wars, the card game, and so yesterday we debuted the role-playing game. The game is available right now. You can order it on the web store. Folks here at Gen Con are walking away with copies.
Not paying for them, is that what you're saying? That's terrible.
No, they're paying for copies. They're available for purchase, but this is a beta. So there is a lot of artwork that is missing, and all the fluff and background is missing. But this is several hundred pages. This is an entire core game system, character types, and the abilities, skill trees, and all the mechanics of the game, so that you can enjoy and explore the world. Edge of the Empire is the title of this first book. What we recognize is this is a huge IP. I was sitting in the theater in '77. There are lots of us here where Star Wars is just it is in our DNA.
It's hard to imagine the past 35 years without that.
Without Star Wars and the impact that it's had. So this is such a huge world to capture that, in this case, we would like to include the players, and a beta program will allow players to help us refine and make this the absolute best Star Wars role-playing game experience to date. I mean, that is our goal, and I hope that people love it, and I hope that they feel we've succeeded. But pick up the beta, see what you think, get us your feedback, and participate. I mean, and play. I mean, you can play now. We're playing at the office. Folks have after work groups, so we're thrilled.
Thanks very much for your time, Anton. It's a very, very ambitious, but you got the team to work with it and do it.
Fantastic team here, and I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm looking forward the next year to show you all the other stuff I can't talk about now. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
And so.